Hey guys, what's going on? SpitBrix here, back for their LEGO Ninjago video, and in this video we're going to be checking out every single Ninjago dragon that has ever been produced in a LEGO set. Previously I did a video like this one back in July of 2017, but since then we've gotten a ton more dragons in Ninjago, and so I figured that I'd do an update video because I've gotten a lot of requests. So be sure to stick around for the entire video so you guys can see every single dragon that LEGO Ninjago has ever produced. Also, as you watch this video, keep track and comment down below afterwards which of these dragons is your personal favorite. Very curious to see which ones you guys enjoy the most. And lastly, be sure to enter my LEGO giveaway for 2019. All the information and details you guys need to know is in the description down below. And now with that, let's go ahead and jump into the first set of dragons we got back in 2011 from the original pilot season of Ninjago. First one here comes from the Ice Dragon Attack set. We have the Ice Dragon. This guy was nicknamed Shard in the TV show by Zane. And for these dragons, LEGO created this new head mold for them, which basically had an upper and lower jaw, and in the middle it could shoot out a ball, which in this case is basically a ball of ice. These dragons were basically an instant success in the LEGO community, and let's be honest, the Ninjago theme itself was as well. Also at this same time, we had Cole's dragon here, which he nicknamed Rocky, come in the Earth Dragon Defense set. It does have some really cool features of the swinging tail in the back, and an interesting fact about this one is that in the building of this set, the dragon does not appear to actually have any wings. This is a pretty interesting feature that's only on a few dragons we've ever gotten for Ninjago, which definitely makes this Earth Dragon stick out amongst the rest. The largest brick-built dragon out of the original wave of Ninjago sets here was the Lightning Dragon, nicknamed Wisp by Jay in the Ninjago TV show. This dragon is very attractive in my opinion. It has some really nice color combinations with those hints of gold in there as well. It definitely came out fantastic, and that's definitely why it's worth a lot of money if you do have it to this day. In the Fire Temple set came the Fire Dragon, suitably named Flame, by Kai. The build of this dragon is kind of a mismatch of the Ice Dragon and the Lightning Dragon that we've already looked at, but of course with a different color scheme and even a fire-tipped tail. And actually, an interesting fact about this Fire Dragon is the ball that it shoots out of its mouth was actually two different colors kind of merged into one, almost looking like a tie-dye sort of color. It had red as well as hints of orange. That's a very interesting aspect that is not apparent really on any other Ninjago dragon. Now, there was also this small polybag at the time which featured a mini Fire Dragon build, set number 30083. Moving on to 2012, we got a new dragon in the mix. This is the Ultra Dragon and is arguably one of the best dragons we have ever gotten for LEGO Ninjago. This dragon is absolutely crazy, it's huge. I mean, who wouldn't like this dragon? It's basically 4 dragons put into one after all. Moving on to the final battle season of Ninjago, we had the Golden Dragon, which is another fan favorite. It was always sold out in stores, or at least where I live. This dragon definitely did not disappoint back in 2013. This was a $30 set at the time, and once again we have gotten a remake of this set with Ninjago Legacy. However, this model does not have a smaller style of a head like the one in Legacy. It has just the normal size and is a nice pearl gold with accents of green. For Ninjago Rebooted, we got to see a brand new style of Ninjago dragons, this one starting off this sort of new trend of brick-built dragon heads. This is the Nindroid Mech Dragon, which is basically like a robotic dragon controlled by evil Sensei Wu, and this guy is definitely a beastly looking dragon. It has a total of 2 saw blades, a large missile in the back. I mean, this thing is absolutely stacked. I would not want to run into this Nindroid Mech Dragon. For the Tournament of Elements, we got the Titanium Dragon, set number 70748. Not necessarily my favorite out of the bunch that we have gotten. It's kind of wacky looking. LEGO went a little bit crazy with the design of the dragon head on this one, but it does have some pretty interesting titanium or silver colored wings on it, and an interesting tailpiece. Now here's another one of the fan favorite dragons. This is Moro's dragon, and it also introduced a new feature of these dragons. Not only does it have a brick built head, but it also now featured this new concept of felted wings, basically a piece of felt that would go in between the wings and overall make it look more like a dragon wing, but less like a Lego set. I don't know, I've had really mixed opinions. I think some of them look good, like this one looks pretty good, but others I'm just not a really big fan of. Be sure to let me know down below, do you guys prefer brick-built dragon wings or these sort of felt/plastic wings? Continually in possession, we got Master Wu's dragon, and this one was absolutely phenomenal. Not only was the set a great deal for your money's worth, I believe it was a $40 set for 575 pieces, which is pretty ridiculous. You don't see that very often. This is the only dragon we've ever gotten for Master Wu, and I have to say, it looks really, really nice. This is one of my favorite brick-built heads on these dragons. I do prefer the molded ones, but I think this one came out really, really nice. I really like how this dragon came out. Now additionally, in this same season, there were a lot of smaller dragons included in other sets, more specifically for the ghosts, like in Ronin Rex here. We also have one in the Blaster Bike, and we also got the Cowler Dragon in its very own polybag. And all three of these dragons really are just small additions onto the sets. They weren't the main build, but once again, they were dragons that we've gotten in the Ninjago line, and so they are definitely worthy to be in this video. Not to mention the relatively mid-sized dragon that comes in the final flight of Destiny's Bounty. This one is also controlled by one of the ghosts, and although it's larger than the other ones, it's not the main build of the set, but it does have a neat design nonetheless. Moving on to Skybound, we have Jay's Elemental Dragon, and this one, I have to admit, is still pretty cool. It's kind of wacky with its wings, with all those different pieces that make of its head as well. It's definitely unique, it stands out amongst the bunch, but I think it came out pretty decently. I like the addition of the transparent light blue bricks, as well as some of the accents of gold and transparent yellow. We also got Kai's mini dragon in this season of Ninjago, which it basically is exactly what it says. It's basically just a small fire dragon of Kai's. One of the interesting pieces of this set is the fire tail on the back, which uses one of the wing pieces from the minifigures from Chima at the time. Now, it just so happens that we got another dragon for Skybound. We have Cole's dragon here. It was a relatively small set, and thus kind of lacked in a lot of detail. It's very small, it's not necessarily my favorite, but it does what it's supposed to do for such a cheap set, and gets the point across that it is definitely a dragon. Next up is the Green NRG Dragon that was featured in Day of the Departed for the Ninjago line of sets. Now, this guy is he's okay. There are a few things that I like about him, and there's a few things that I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of the head build of this dragon. It's just kind of small, it slants down so much. I'm not really a big fan. And for this one, the felted wings, I don't believe serve their purpose very well. They're not necessarily the prettiest that I've ever seen, and underneath, just with the Technic, just not very appealing in my eyes. But I do really like the split tail in the back. That's an interesting feature that not many dragons of Ninjago really have ever had. Now, here's a really cool dragon. This is the Fusion Dragon. It came in the Hands of Time season of Ninjago in Dragon's Forge. This one is a combination of the Water and Fire Dragon, and overall the distinct color differentiations between the two dragons make it look really cool, as if there were really two Lego builds that kind of meshed into one. The two different tails in the back, you have the one side of the wings being for water and one side being for fire, as well as the two heads in the very front. This is a phenomenal dragon, very original design. There aren't any really other dragons other than the Ultra Dragon that use this sort of feature of combining different dragons together. For the LEGO Ninjago movie, we got the Green Ninja Mech Dragon, which really went back to the roots of where Ninjago comes from, kind of the traditional style of dragon in different parts of Asian culture, and I really like the design. I think it came out really nice. I appreciate the new molded head design. What's interesting about this dragon is it has no shooting mechanism in its mouth, unlike all the other molded head dragons that basically have some sort of feature of shooting something out of the mouth. This one does not. Moving on to Season 9, we have the Stormbringer Dragon. You guys may notice that we just skipped over Sons of Garmadon, because we didn't have any new dragons in that season. But here for Season 9, we got quite a few since it was, well, we were in the realm of Oni and Dragon for the season. And so here's the Stormbringer Dragon. He was the lightning dragon in the realm. And this dragon featured some different building techniques such as the neck and head of this dragon. And personally, I really like the touch of the yellow underside of this build. Gives it an interesting character. This dragon was also the first dragon for Ninjago to shoot spring-loaded missiles out of its mouth instead of a stud or a ball. The Firstborn Dragon also had its very own set in this wave, and I'm definitely glad it did. I mean, imagine if it didn't. Firstborn Dragon is by far the most important dragon out of the bunch. After all, she was the firstborn and has been around ever since basically the beginning of what we know of Ninjago history. This is a very large dragon build, and overall I think came out very nicely. It was one of the fan favorites of the wave, and thus I'd have to say that it was definitely a success. In the Dragon Pit set for Hunted, we got another dragon, basically as a side build. This is Slab, that's what he was referred to as in the TV show, and I really like this guy. He's definitely has some serious character. He's big and bulky. He's got this interesting tail build in the back, this olive green with the gray. He doesn't have much of a build for the wings, as do many of the other Earth dragons, it just so happens, but overall, still a pretty cool looking build. There was also this small Dragon Hunter polybag, which was basically at every single Walmart you could possibly ever go to. It's pretty much everywhere, and it features this small little ice dragon in it. Now here we've gotten to some of the modern day sets. We have Ninjago Legacy and all the dragons that this has brought. We have the remake of the Golden Dragon with the smaller molded head there, which gets introduced for this set. It's a $20 set, a pretty small dragon build in that aspect, but still does a pretty decent job. It includes a stud shooter in its mouth, which is very unique as opposed to many of the other dragons we've gotten. And we also have the Ultra Dragon, the remake of the Ultra Dragon from 2012. This one with all brick-built heads and felted wings. Two different things that, you know, I'm kind of mixed opinions on, but I think this set is still good nonetheless. Particularly the builds of the heads for each of the dragons I think came out quite nice, and the cockpit where the ninja would sit in the very middle there. The wings are a so-so build for me, but as far as the tail, it looks almost identical to the original Ultra Dragon if you didn't already notice that. And we also have this polybag that's under the Ninjago Legacy name, although the minifigure is kind of a mashup of the Sons of Garmadon Kai and Legacy Kai. The minifigure features a Sons of Garmadon torso, but with a Legacy head wrap, and as far as the build, we have a small fire dragon back at it again. It appears that LEGO loves to create small fire dragon builds, because this is the third fire dragon polybag that we have ever gotten, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. 3 different polybags, all with different versions of a fire dragon as its main build. Up to Ninjago Legacy, these are all the different dragons that we have gotten for Ninjago in different LEGO sets. Be sure to let me know your guys' favorite dragons down below. Which ones are your guys' favorites? My favorite has got to be still the Ultra Dragon, the original one back from 2012. None of the dragons have really ended up beating it out yet, but there are some pretty good contenders in there as well. Be sure to check out the original All Ninjago Dragons video, which is on screen right now, subscribe to the channel, and join my current LEGO giveaway. All the rules are in the description down below. Have a great day, I'm SpitBrix, and I'll see you guys in the next video, coming very soon.